We had a client that we worked with, and she was really struggling with profitability. She kept raising tuition. She actually did 3 tuition increases within a 15-month cycle, and she still could not catch up. So I helped her work with our 6 money leaks in schools, and she only used 3 of the 6 money leaks and cut her expenses by 50%. 50. She did not fire anyone. She did not slash any of her programs, and she did not work more hours. Again, the 6 money leaks are not hacks or spreadsheets. These are patterns. They are small decisions that feel so normal that your school does, but they quietly drain your school's profit. So if you've ever wondered why you're working so hard, but still not seeing the return, this is your first step to clarity. Click the link in the show notes and find out what it's actually costing you.
So welcome again to day 4. Today is all about conflict. Today we're going to be talking, hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about inner team conflict and about understanding why conflict and understanding how to navigate conflict is such a foundational component of your skills and who you're going to be as a leader. So once again, let me know in the comments, give me a quick hello. What were some of the resonating moments from what you saw from our leaders who just presented just a couple moments ago? Natasha's here, Sunflower, amazing. So for those of you that are on Zoom, for those of you that are on Facebook, would love to hear from all of you guys, and welcome to our final day, day 4. So again, just a reminder to all of you guys about our schedule. I always like to start with that. We have today from 1:30 to 2:30. We're going to be going over a conflict, and I'll also be sharing with you some other exciting news. Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern, I'm going to be doing a bonus session on the 6 types of support that every school leader needs to sustain excellence. I'm doing that at 9 Eastern, only in the Facebook group. So make sure that you're joining us in the Facebook group. It will be available on the podcast after as well. And on Tuesday, Sarah, who's our head of community, will be doing a training on accountability. So you can understand what it means to truly hold someone accountable. What is the science behind it, and how we structure our programs to help you learn the skills of accountability. So that is what's coming up. So once again, let me hear from you guys in the comments. I want to see your energy. I know it's day 4. It's Friday. Sometimes we're tired at the end of the week. Let me hear from you guys in the comments that you're here, where you're dialing from. We have our advisors here live with us. I know so many of you have connected with them over this week. So thanks for taking the time to connect. Thank you to our advisors who have been super engaged in our Facebook group and all the DMs connecting with over 2,000 of you. There's over 2,200 people that are registered for this amazing Built to Last workshop. It has been an incredible experience being here with you throughout these 4 days. So thank you for joining us. Again, make sure you have your workbook in front of you so that you could participate along with the experience. Turn to page, sorry, give me one second here. Turn to page 29. Page 29 is where we are in the workbook. Sarah, on Tuesday, let me do a quick check here for you. And I can let you know. Give me one second. I'll pull that up real quick so I could just let you guys know. Sarah will be on Tuesday at 12:30 Eastern. Sarah will be on Tuesday at 12:30 Eastern. And that will, again, only be in the Facebook group and later on our podcast, on the Schools of Excellence podcast. So make sure that you are subscribed to our podcast. Again, you could go anywhere where you listen to podcasts, the Schools of Excellence podcast. Hi, Rachel. So glad you're here live. And yes, that's why we have the replays available. The replays in Facebook will be available until next week, Friday, and then we will be taking them down. So make sure you block out time to listen to the replays so that you can learn. Hi from Hawaii. Hello, everyone, and welcome. So let's do a quick review of what we've been talking about over the last couple of days. On day 1, on Tuesday, we spoke all about mindset. We spoke about understanding what brings us joy, how to release stress, and how to invite calm. So if you were with us on day 1, or if you watch the replay, please let me know in the comments How have you been doing with releasing stress and inviting calm into your body, into your school over the last 3 days? I want to hear from you. Hello, everyone. Let me know in the comments, what have you been doing to release stress and invite calm over the last couple days since learning about this new strategy? Anyone has been more mindful about recognizing that they're human and they're not a machine? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you guys. I want to see what you're really taking with you. Again, this is a 4-day workshop. It's a transformational experience. This isn't just about consuming content. This is about being in the presence of a coach, of a community who's here to ensure that you can get amazing results. I've been going to bed on a schedule. Natasha, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, let me see. I see a bunch of people are jumping in here live with us. Rachel, taking time for myself allowed me to be a better mom, wife, and manager. Rachel, 3 days in schools of excellence. Your life is already changing. I'm so happy for you. Welcome to the community. Renee's been taking time to close her door, turn off her lights, listen to music in between meetings. Renee, I'm so happy to hear this. Again, for those of you that want strategy on how to actually close your door so that you don't have interruptions, go listen to episode 4 on the Schools of Excellence podcast. It is the myth of the open door policy. And we have some free resources inside in the show notes. So definitely go check that out. Kaylee, hi. Kaylee has been with us live here every single day. Natasha's been here with us. So many of you guys have been here with us. I see you guys. I remember who's here. Kaylee's added a mantra to morning journaling. I'm not a machine. I'm human. I love that. I love that. Day 2, we were so privileged to have Joe David join us on our Built to Last workshop and talk all about theme days and time blocking and calendar creation. And I know that so many of you uploaded your calendars and your theme days. Would love to hear, how has theme days helped you, even just in the last 48 hours, possibly a time block? Remember, you want to close this feedback loop to consistently remind yourself you're taking action, you're moving forward, right? It's taking imperfect action every single day. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about being disciplined. It's about showing up. Awesome. My favorite subject was the block schedule. I love that. Episode 4 was a life changer. Hi, Laura. We take dance party breaks that were better. I love this. This is so amazing. So many lives have been changing over the last couple of days, and I'm really, really grateful to be part of that experience with you. Yesterday, we had Sarah Schreiner and Susan Schaller join us from the Sunshine Academy to talk about their practices and habits of how they've built a culture of excellence. Again, make sure you have the workbook, because in the workbook, we also put 10 ways to build culture, 10 free ways to build culture. So if you don't have the workbook, make sure you download it so that you can check it out. We also have it here in the comments. We have it in the show notes on the podcast. So make sure to download that workbook, because there's a ton of extra resources inside there for you. One of the biggest things that a lot of people were shocked by that they heard Sarah say is Sarah's not having a hiring crisis. Sarah actually has people moving down to her city because they want to work in her school. And I know that many of you are struggling with hiring and staffing and culture and gossip and call outs and retention. And I want you to know there is a solution. And part of what we're going to be talking about today, besides for conflict, is I'm going to be sharing with you guys some of the next steps of how to continue working with schools of excellence. For those of you that want to go with us further, for those of you that want more training, you want more coaching, you want community, we do have an invitation for you guys. So make sure to stay with us. We have a lot to share with you here today. So happy that you're all here again. So let's start talking a little bit about conflict here. I had a conversation yesterday with an owner. She owns about, I think it's 6 locations. And one of the things that she shared with me was how much time she spends working on solving teachers' problems. She's navigating them, she's answering them, she's fielding requests, all of these things. And one of the things that's really important to remember, because, we look at the data all the time. Our company is data driven. We look at the data, and directors and owners spend an average of 4 hours a day fielding interruptions and solving problems from teachers. 4 hours a day. So I'm actually curious to hear from you guys in the comments. Now that this is data, like we get the data from our directors, they give us their input of their time tracking and all that kind of stuff. Like this is hard data. I want to hear from you. Does that sound like truth for you? Like if you went and did the exercise and did the data, do you think that's how it would come up for you? 4 hours a day, solving problems, navigating conflict, fielding interruptions, all of that stuff. Give me a big yes in the cons of like, yeah, that sounds about right. Maybe give or take 30 minutes here or there, but it sounds about right. So true, Rosanna. Yeah, hey, good to see you here. Good to see you here. Feel like that all day. Yes, yes. So here's the thing that's important to remember. Conflict, navigating conflict is 90% of your job as a leader. So whether or not it's interruption or not, you're constantly navigating conflict. Your email are full of questions and conflict, right? So many times people view conflict as something bad. Conflict is. It is. Don't look at it as a good or bad. It just is. And if you look at conflict from a component of this is part of the ingredients of building a school, you will navigate it like a pro with grace, with empathy, with accountability. Awesome. Yes. And it sounds so exhausting because it is. If I spent 4 hours a day doing that, I basically wouldn't work because I only work 25 hours a week. So if I spent 20 hours a week fielding interruptions and issues, I basically wouldn't work. And this is why so many school leaders, before they join our directors inner circle, are working 17, 18-hour days, 70-hour work weeks, staying in the evening, because that's when they get their work done. Because during the work hours, they can't work. They're busy managing conflict. They're busy fielding interruptions. And it's crazy. It's crazy. And so today we're going to learn about how to start solving that. Okay? So many leaders tell me that, I don't have time to do this. And I don't have time to go watch a webinar. I don't have time to listen to a problem. And I said, okay, but you do have time to solve problems all day? Do you have time to never take a vacation? Do you have time to always answer questions on the weekends and on your holidays? Because you have time for that. So what if we swapped that? What if we said, I'm going to use the time to learn a training so that I could go take a 3-day vacation, right? You're using the time in one way or another. You're using the time in one way or another. The question is, how are you using it? And I say this to every single person. The devil you know is better than the devil that you don't. We stay complacent. We stay where we are because we are terrified about what happens over there. And here's something shocking for you to understand. Success is just as scary as failure, just so you know. And for those of you that are watching this that have already achieved certain levels of success, you know what I mean. In our CEO Legacy group, where we have CEOs of multiple centers, their fears are not fear of failure. They've done failure 1,000 times. It's the fear of success. Success is also scary. Am I going to maintain that level of success? What if I lose that success? Success is just as scary as failure. The problem is that many times we haven't tasted enough success, so we're so scared of failure. But both of them are scary. And that's why you have to learn how to embrace it. Embrace the uncertainty, embrace the chaos, embrace the not knowing, and stop trying to look for reassurance and certainty all the time. Success is just as scary as failure. And I know for many of you that are watching, it sounds insane. You're like, are you crazy? Success is amazing. Success is amazing, and it has its scary parts. It has its scary parts. Okay. So let's go into page 19 of the workbook, where we have conflict. There are 4 types of conflict. Okay. The 4 types of inter-team conflict are task-based conflict, leadership conflict, work style conflict, and personality clashes. These are the 4 types of conflict. And what's really important to understand is when you're navigating conflict, it's critical to understand which type of conflict you're up against. Because if you don't know the type of conflict you're trying to navigate, you're going to solve the wrong problem. I always give the example of 2 people that come into a doctor's office and both of them have a headache. And as the doctor starts asking questions, he starts realizing this person has a headache because of a hangover. He had one too many hamburgers and beers last night. And this person actually is on the verge of a brain aneurysm. Two very different prescriptions of how to help them. He needs a hot shower and a bed for 12 hours. This person needs immediate surgery. Same symptoms, right? They both have a headache. So conflict can look like it's all the same. But if you don't understand which type of conflict you're dealing with, you're going to try to solve the conflict in a way that doesn't make sense. You're going to give the conflict a nap when it needs a surgery. Put that in the comments. You're going to give conflict a nap when it needs surgery. And this is one of the biggest bottlenecks of success for leaders. They solve the wrong problem. They take strategy from other people, from free Facebook groups, from sharing advice. I saw someone post in the comment, hey, can I pick someone's brain here? No, you can't pick anyone's brain. Go hire a coach. Go get mentorship. Don't pick people's brains. It's very expensive. I don't let anyone pick my brain. My brain is very expensive. I've spent 2 decades pouring into my brain. You cannot pick it. This is an opportunity where you get to get a glimpse into what I have to share with you, right? You cannot pick people's brains. It's disrespectful. It's not nice. Don't do it. When I was a director and teachers would come in and say, can I pick your brain? I would say, I need you to phrase that differently. Come in and say, hey, can I ask you for some advice? I'm struggling with something. Absolutely. I'm happy to give you advice. Don't pick my brain. So, and I'm sharing that as a total side note, just again, as a director, as a leader, if you've invested a lot in yourself, in your skill, in who you are, in your knowledge, don't just give out your stuff. Be mindful about who you give your energy to. Okay. It's nice to share. And it's also nice for people to step up and learn how to take care of themselves and be accountable. And you can't just smooch off of other people all the time. It's not okay. So I'm sharing that because it's part of accountability, it's part of conflict, and it's part of task-based conflict. So let's go into that. What is task-based conflict? Task-based conflict is when there is a difference of how do we complete this task, right? How does this thing actually happen? Okay? Meaning, excuse me. You know, nobody teaches you in your master's degree or your bachelor's degree or any of that kind of stuff how to hold yourself accountable and how to hold other people accountable. I know because I have a bachelor's in education. I have a master's in early childhood. I have a master's in special ed. And I also took a school leadership building course. And none of them taught me how to hold people accountable. That is why I created the Directors Inner Circle. That is why I created the Owners HQ, our 2 flagship programs, because none of the leadership programs taught you the skills and the mindset and the tools needed to hold people accountable. Okay, how to be disciplined, how to not have shiny object syndrome, how to follow through with your team and make sure they're hitting their goals. Right? You think that people are just supposed to know how to be accountable? How should you know how to do it if no one trained you? How should you know how to run a classroom with 15 kids if nobody taught you how to manage multiple requests in 1 second, not in a minute, multiple requests in a second from toddlers? How is a teacher supposed to do that without getting overwhelmed if she was never trained? If she was never trained? You have to be taught how to navigate conflict. I just onboarded a new team member, and in the interview, one of the things I told her is we have difficult conversations in our company. That is part of what we do here. We navigate conflict, we make mistakes, and we have difficult conversations. How many of you have ever said that to someone, to a teacher who's coming in for an interview and telling her, this is part of what we do here. You're going to make mistakes. I make mistakes, and we have difficult conversations so that we can come together. I said that in the interview. I was looking at her body language, her eye contact, and her facial expressions. I wanted to know, how does she think about making mistakes? How does she think about difficult conversations? Because here's the hard truth. She's going to make mistakes, and I'm going to have difficult conversations with her. It is ludicrous to believe that your teacher will never make mistakes, and you'll never have to have difficult conversations, and there won't be any conflict. Are you crazy? Of course there's going to be. That's part of the job. It's like the infant teacher saying, I don't change diapers. You're in an infant room. They wear diapers. It's like a 4-year-old teacher saying, I don't want to deal with cliques. You're in the 4-year-old classroom. I don't know how to deal with kids who, use swear words. You're in the 5-year-old room. Welcome. Okay? So we make mistakes, we have difficult conversations, and we navigate conflict here. This is what we do here. This is what we do here. So it's understanding task-based conflict, right? So there's a distinction that it's really important to understand that you are the cap of everything that happens in your school. And I want you to put that in the comments. Hashtag, I am the cap of everything that happens in my school. So if you want to train staff on conflict, if you want them to know how to deal with conflict, if you want them to know how to deal with task-based conflict, you have to learn how to do that. You have to learn how to do that. Okay, you are the cap of everything that happens in your school. Let me see that in the comments. Let me see that in the comments. Awesome, awesome. I am the cap of everything that happens in my school. There we go. Renee, conflict is part of the classroom. Conflict is part of the classroom. Exactly. Okay. So let's explain this a little bit deeper, okay? Different teacher, you have 2 teachers, they all need something, right? And one teacher doesn't submit it on time and it affects your work, right? And so a lot of times people are struggling with teachers submitting things on time and it delays other people, right? And so many times you want this teacher to submit this report and then she's waiting on this person to do that, or parents need to see this progress, or this is happening, or this is happening. And a lot of times I hear from owners, we're very low on budget. And I'm like, guess what? Do you know how much money you hemorrhage every single day by not completing tasks on time? You only get rewarded for work that actually goes out into the world. You don't get the grant unless the grant actually goes out and you submit it. You don't get the funding unless you actually submit it. You don't get to do any of that. And when you get interrupted 1,000 times and you have to navigate conflict and your teachers aren't submitting progress reports, so parents don't know what's going on, parents aren't sending you referrals, they're going to leave, you have low parent retention. You have to look at the bigger picture, not just with your head in the sand of like, oh, again, this teacher didn't submit her deadline. So give me a yes in the comments if you wish there was a framework to help teachers meet their deadlines. There is a ton of money that's being hemorrhaged towards projects that are not being completed. So I'm going to show you, going to give you a little glimpse here into our directors in our circle portfolio right here. So this is our membership area. Excuse me, right over here. So our members, when they join our directors in our circle, they actually, oh gosh, it's taking forever. Never mind. I'm going to go right here. When our directors join, they get access to their portfolio. And this is our Meet the Deadline framework right here. We have a training video on the Meet the Deadline framework on how to help teachers meet their deadlines. And then we have a PDF that helps teachers break down every single type of deadline that they need to hit, whether that's submitting a newsletter, whether that's submitting a progress report, whatever it is. We have a framework that helps you do that. So that's something that, excuse me, you get access to when you join our directors in our circle. And I'm going to be talking more about that towards the end over here as well. So that is the first type of conflict. Let's talk about the next type of conflict. The next type of conflict is leadership conflict. Now, in case you haven't recognized, I have a very direct approach to leadership. I'm very direct. I'm very straightforward. I don't give hints. I don't beat around the bush. I had someone come stay in my house a little bit ago, and over the couple of weeks before she stayed, she kept dropping hints about me taking her to the airport. I don't do hints. If you want something, you need to ask me. I do not pick up on hints, not because I didn't see that she was hinting, but because I'm not going to respond to a hint. You're a grown up. I don't do that. You need to ask. You know, to ask something, ask me directly. Don't drop hints. And so she kept dropping hints and dropping hints, and finally we're like 2 hours before she has to go, and she's still dropping these hints about me taking her to the airport. Finally, I looked at her and I said, "Are you trying to ask me if I could take you to the airport?" She's like, "Oh, whatever, like if it would be okay, like that would be really great if you could take me." And I said, "No, I actually can't take you. My schedule's all booked up." I said, "However, I would like to tell you, because I do like helping people, the next time you come, if you ask me in advance, I'm happy to see if I could work around my schedule and possibly take you. Right now, my schedule is already all booked up." She goes, "Oh, I asked you 2 weeks ago." I said, "You didn't ask me. You dropped hints. I don't do hints. Ask me directly." Now, you might be looking this in horror and being, "Oh my God, you're such a terrible person." No, I'm actually a really kind person. I'm very kind and I'm very clear. And when you need something, I will move mountains and hell and high water to get it for you when you're in my inner circle. Do not drop hints. I don't do it. I'm very, 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 very direct. Now, for some people, they're like, "Oh my God, I could never work for someone like you." That's fine, right? I can't help everyone. This is why when members fill out applications to join our inner circle, a big part of what we're doing on the call is them assessing, do they like my style of coaching? Do they like the direct approach? Do they like the realness and the no nonsense and the no BS? Some people don't want that. They want to be coddled and grandmothered and sugar coated. That's fine. That's not us. Now, the reason you need to understand that type of conflict is because many times your leadership style conflicts with your staff. You might be all the hinty person who's dancing around and giving 1,000 hints, and the person's like, "Just say it. Just tell me what you need." Right? Also, just so you know, hinting and dancing around costs you millions of dollars a year. Millions. Just say it. Instead of taking 5 hours hinting, it could take you 30 seconds to say, "Hey, can you please do this?" As opposed to spending 5 hours hinting it and writing in a text and adding a bunch of emojis and then sending this and then sending that. And are you kidding me? Guys, this is real stuff. Like, we have people that are really doing this. And I know that there's someone in this audience right now that does that. Stop it. It's 5 hours that you just wasted. Say it in 60 seconds. Be direct, be clear, be kind. It's a component of conflict that really, really, really disrupts schools. Be direct. Stop giving hints. Be kind, be clear, right? We're worried that our directness is coming off as not nice. If you're worried about being not nice, what you actually need to work on is the gratitude matrix, not hinting better. You need to work on your gratitude, which is episode 3 of the Schools of Excellence podcast. Be direct, be clear, be kind, give gratitude. All right, let me pause here for a second. I want to hear from you. What are your big takeaways so far from task-based conflict and leadership-based conflict? Yes, radical candor. Yes, yes. When you have 50 women, you cannot give hints to every person. You have to teach people how to be accountable. Yes, yes, it's a skill. Accuracy, beautiful. Anyone else? Let me hear from you guys. Clear is kind. Yes, it is. Brene Brown. Feeling empowered to be direct. I love that, Denise. Go for it. Be direct, be clear, be kind. It's okay for me to be upfront and blunt and still be nice. Yes. Yes, you don't have to be a jerk. Being direct can actually be really kind. Brene Brown, yes. I notice people also ask for direct feedback and then are offended by it. Yes, people ask for direct feedback. When people ask for feedback, what a lot of people actually mean is, I want words of affirmation. There's a difference between feedback and words of affirmation. Words of affirmation is a type of gratitude. I talk about that in the podcast on the gratitude matrix. Feedback is, let me talk to you about your performance. Let me give you some feedback on how you're showing up and how you can improve. So yes, there are many people that get offended by feedback. For me, feedback is a gift. When my people give me feedback, I give them tremendous gratitude and appreciation. I actually send them voice memos and thank them for giving me feedback so I can be a better leader. When I model this, my people do the same. When I give my team members feedback, they thank me. They don't get offended. They thank me for the feedback. But again, it's the ripple effect. So the first question you want to ask yourself is, what is your response to feedback? If someone were to give you feedback on your performance, how would you respond to that? Would you get insulted? Would you get offended? Right? I don't get insulted by feedback. I absolutely love it. Here's the only feedback I don't like. Internet crazy trolls. I delete, 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 delete. They're trolls. You don't listen to trolls' feedback. You listen to feedback from mentors, from coaches who love you and care about you and want you to rise up. Okay? So hard to focus on developing a school culture when we're not allowed to mix between classrooms and cohorts. Yeah, again, Lucy, you want to connect with people that are still dealing with that. Most of the schools here in the US are not, dealing with that anymore at this time, and a lot of other places as well. So you definitely want to connect with people that are still kind of in the throes of it and navigating it, as most of the schools around the US are currently opening up at this time. Asking staff, what can I do to be a better leader? Yes. And that can only be done after months and months of gratitude of pouring into the staff. Until the staff know that you deeply care about them, tell me which teacher is answering that question. That is career suicide. When you ask a teacher, what can I do to be a better leader? And there isn't a relationship there, nobody's answering that question. Which idiot teacher is going to say, hey, here's how you could be a better leader. Don't do this. Really? I don't like you. You're out. No one's answering that question. No one. Teachers answer that question when there's a relationship. Months of doing the gratitude matrix, not a day, months of relationship building, of one-on-ones, of classroom observations, months and months, a minimum of 6 months of investing before you can even ask that question, because nobody's answering that question. And if they do, they're answering it like, yeah, can you put like decaf coffee in the teacher's room instead of regular coffee? Not feedback. That's feedback for the custodian, not you. Okay? Again, I'm being direct here. Asking for feedback, I'm being direct. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Work style conflict. Okay, work style conflict. We all have different type of work styles. Okay, but here is what is important to remember when it comes to work style conflict. You have some people that say things like, I just come late. I'm just not a morning person. It's really hard for me to keep schedule on the time. So sorry I'm late for my break again. I really ran as fast as I could. Transitions are just really difficult for me. So you just take the lead. Give me an emoji in the comments if you have teachers on your team that actually feel that they are legitimatized when they say, I'm just not a morning person. It's really hard for me to come on time. So sorry I'm late again. Really difficult for me to do this. Anyone seen that? Anyone have that? Yeah, if you have humans, you have that. Okay, it doesn't matter where you live in the world. You have that. You will have teachers that will be doing that. Emojis coming in. Yes. Hi, Almas. Can't go late to meetings as I go to bed by 8 p.m. Yes. Oh, how lovely. Can't go to the meeting. I go to sleep at 8 o'clock. Yes. Yes. We've heard all of them. This is where work style conflict comes into play. I understand that these are your things that are going on in your personal life. And this is how we do things in our company. In our company, you have a 30-minute break, which means your break ends at 1:30, not at 1:32, not at 1:35. It ends at 1:30, which means if it takes you 5 minutes to clean up your lunch and use the ladies' room, that means you need to start ending your break at 1:25 so that by 1:30, you're in the classroom. This is called time management training. It is teaching your staff how to budget their time. But if you don't know how to do that, you cannot teach your staff how to do that. I have done this with teachers who consistently struggled with coming 5 minutes late back from their break every single day. And it creates tremendous animosity in the classroom. And I sat down with a teacher, Becca, and I said, listen, every single day you come back from your break 5 minutes late. Walk me through what your break looks like. And she's like, well, I do this and da, da, da. And then, when I'm done with my break, I clean up my lunch and I go use the restroom and then I come back. And I said, great. On average, how many minutes do you think it takes to wrap up your lunch and use the ladies' room? She's like, about 5 minutes. I said, okay, well, if you need to be back in the classroom by 1:30, when do you think you should start the cleanup restroom process? She's like, well, I should start at 1:25, but 1:25, it's still in the middle of my break. And I said, yes, but if you start cleaning up at 1:30, that means your break is until 1:35. And it's not, it's until 1:30. And so she literally did not understand that the break ends at 1:30 when all parts of your break are done. Not the break ends at 1:30 and now I start cleaning up and using the restroom. No, you're in the classroom at 1:30. That's a huge difference. Many people don't understand that. And here's something else I want to tell you. Many teachers will never come forward and tell you that because they feel they're being petty over 5 minutes. Here's what I want to tell you. 5 minutes, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 20, day 60, day 80, day 100. Diane, I'm out. Not coming back. Why not? Well, this reason. No reasons. You know why she's not coming back? Because she's fed up with her coworker who every single day comes in 5 minutes late from her break, and she's done. She's done. She feels like she's carrying the load and it's too much. Guys, these stories are real. They happen for real. This is why you need to understand conflict. This is why you need to get into the classrooms. Okay, so how many of you have a system for classroom observations? How many of you have a system for actually assessing teachers' performance and how they're actually doing in the classroom? Let me know in the comments. And while you're doing that, I'm actually going to share with you what we have in our Directors Inner Circle. Yes, of course it's true. And I'm not even in your center, and I don't even know you, and I'm telling you something that happened in your center, right? This is what I said on day 1. Real person, real human, doing real things, okay? I know what's going on in the centers because I've been there. I've done that. I'm still doing it. Okay, so let me share what we have here. So over here, this is something called the 6 performance keys. This is one of the tools that we give you when you join our Directors Inner Circle. The 6 performance keys are assessing the 6 key areas that every teacher needs to improve in. Every teacher needs to improve in to become a teacher of excellence. And that is classroom management, that is children relationships, standards, teacher communication, personal relationships, and parent relationships. And so every 30, 60, 90 days, we assess their performance. And so there's questions that the teachers need to answer. Classroom management, children relationships, standards, teacher communication, personal care, parent communication, and then it assesses their performance. Based on their performance, then we're able to set a plan with the teacher. And we're able to help the teacher grow and accelerate. So teacher might be struggling with task-based conflict, with inter-team conflict, with workplace conflict, with personality clashes, all the things. And running a proper diagnostic can really help her. Can really, really help her. So this is one of our trademarks. It's called the 6 Performance Keys Assessment. After you perform the assessment, we have a training on classroom observations, what to look at. We have an entire framework of how to follow so that you can actually conduct the classroom observation, as well as we have a training video. We have a training video on how to train yourself to run a classroom observation. So give me an emoji in the comments if you're like, oh my gosh, I need that. I need the 6 performance keys. I need the classroom observation checklist. I need the meet the deadline framework. I need these systems and processes. Because here's what I want to tell you. Reinventing the wheel is hours and hours and hours of your time. Hours. We've already done it. Okay? We've already done it. So now let's go into the next part here when it comes to conflict. I want you to think about, when you think about showing up with your staff, when you think about communicating with them, when you think about talking to them, excuse me, I want you to pick one word. I want you to pick one word over here on page 29. How do you want to show up in those difficult conversations? When you have to talk to teachers about any of the stuff that we shared here today, how do you want to show up? Okay. Do you want to show up as courageous, kind, intentional, thoughtful, gracious, confident, bold, articulate? How do you want to show up? Okay. So let me know in the comments. How do you actually want to show up in difficult conversations? Because here's what's important to remember. When you decide how you want to show up, then you come within community, and the community helps you show up that way. The community holds you accountable. So when you write, Susan, yes, I want to show up confident, part of saying I want to show up confident is also saying, who's going to hold me accountable to that? Because here's what you are. You are a human, which means you are humanly fallible to mistakes, which means you are humanly fallible to shiny objects, to distraction, to overwhelm, to craziness, which means you're not going to always show up confident. You can't even show up confident even 90% of the time unless you have accountability. You need someone to remind you what your goals are. You need people to hold you accountable to that, because you can say, oh, I want to do this, but then life gets in the way, and then you give excuses of why you didn't do it, when really it's not about excuses. It means you need more accountability in your life. You need community. Okay? Amazing. Amazing. So the last 2 strategies I want to share here with you, and then I'm going to talk to you more about the Director's Inner Circle and the Owner's HQ for whoever wants to stay on, is 2 important strategies. One is our scripts book. So that we actually give you 2 sample scripts on page 29 and on page 30. We have a script of how to deal with teachers with inner team conflict, and we have a script of meeting with someone who clings to old beliefs. We also have 40 other scripts that are available in our scripts workbook that you can get access to. You could go to chani.me/scripts. I'm just going to put that in the comments. I'll ask the advisors to do that as well. You could go to chani.me/scripts to get access to our scripts workbook. The other strategy that I want to share with you is our 2-option solution. And this is one that leaders have adopted all across the globe. We have clients in Vietnam, in Italy, in Australia, in Canada, in America, all over, that have implemented our 2-option solution. So I want to share with you what that is when it comes to creating a culture where you can navigate conflict with confidence and grace. So when staff come to you with a problem that they need your help with to solve, instead of immediately solving the problem, you can say, please come to me with 2 options of how you think we should solve the problem. The reason you want to tell them that is because you need to learn more about how their brain works and their specific competency level. You will never know a teacher's true competency level unless she actually talks and tells you, here's my idea of how we should solve the snack issue. And she gives you an idea and you're like, oh my gosh, that's the way her brain thinks. Vesemir, we got to figure this out. We need some training on this, right? So many times I see in free groups, people will see things like, what is everyone doing for their first staff meeting of the year? What is everyone teaching on? What? And I'm like, what do your teachers need help with? Where are you getting the data from? Are you asking them these questions? Are you tracking what teachers are saying in their 2-option solution? Alex Bernath, who is the owner of Nourish Learning Center in Ohio, we did an interview with her on the podcast Stories of Resilience. So if you want to learn more about her, you could check out the podcast. One of the things that she did is the 2-option solution, and she actually created a spreadsheet to track what her teacher said when they tried to solve their own problems. Like when she said, hey, so how do you think we should solve this? She would track what they wrote, because then she would look at the data, and then the data would tell her what kind of professional development she needed. I remember I spoke with a director about a year and a half ago who brought in conscious discipline to come train her staff. And I said to her, so she said, oh, I'm bringing in conscious discipline to come train my staff. I can't join the director's inner circle at this time. So I reached out back to her about 6 to 9 months later, and I said, hey, how's your school culture doing? How has everything been since implementing conscious discipline? And she's like, oh, don't ask. It's been such a waste of money. My teachers are not following through. Like, I keep trying to motivate them, but they're not doing it. And I said, listen, I'm going to tell you feedback now, some hard truth. Your teachers cannot implement anything that you invest in them if you do not know how to hold people accountable. You don't know how to do that. That is not a skill you have. So you took 10 grand, invested in conscious discipline, and flushed it down the toilet because you don't know how to hold people accountable. When you learn that, every investment you make in your staff will have an ROI. So the first person you need to invest in is you. The reason leaders don't invest in themselves is because then they actually have to do the work. When you invest in your teachers and it doesn't work, it's, oh, well, this, and oh, well, this, and this teacher, that. It's very easy to shift blame. As opposed to when you invest in yourself and you're not seeing results, now it's like, 1 second, I need to show up better. I need to do this more. And that's scarier. And so that's why so many leaders invest thousands of dollars in their teachers and don't invest in themselves. You are the cap to everything that happens in your school. The moment you stop growing, everything stops in your school. Everything. I invest hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in myself and my leadership so I can do the best for my team. The largest percentage of our budget of professional development goes to me, not because I'm being selfish, but because I know when I invest in me, it impacts my entire team. I pour thousands of dollars into my coaching and training because that helps my team. I invest tons in my team. We have tons of training that I give the team, but the largest percentage of the budget goes to the leader. And in schools, it's flipped on its head and it has to stop. The bigger percentage of the budget needs to go to the leader. When you grow, everything changes after. Everything. And it's a massive mindset shift because for decades and generations, we've invested everything in the staff, right? Think about even just in the context of marriage and families, right? We pour everything into the kids. The kids get the new shoes. The kids get the new clothes. The kids get the new sports. The kids get the new coaches. The kids get the new everything, right? And what do the parents get? Same old, same old, same old. Right? Hashtag same old if you've been getting everything same old and you give everything to the teachers, right? The teachers get new markers. You're still using a pen that's got like 7 inches of ink left. The teachers get new something. You're still sitting at the same chair that's wobbling away, right? The teachers get this. You still are sitting in this thing. Everything is for the teachers. And what do? I'm so good. I'm such a good leader. I take such good care of my teachers. No, you don't. No, you don't. You want to take good care of your teachers? Take care of you. Take care of you. Pour into you. Help yourself think better. Be wiser. Be smarter. Surround yourself with community. Stop trying to carry everything by yourself. Get coaching and training. And the ripple effect will be one that you cannot even fathom how amazing it's going to be. Yes, Larissa, it's so true. You guys get same old. And that is why what's happening in your school is same old, same problems, same issues. They ain't going to change until you change, right? Now I think about how I tell my teachers, you have to take care of yourself before you take care of the children. So this is a great quote, right? I had an interview with Simon Sinek about 3 years ago. Your job is to take care of the teachers so they can take care of the children. Your job is to take care of the teachers so they can take care of the children. But the first thing is your job is to take care of yourself so you can take care of the teachers. Okay, so what I want to do now is, for those of you that are interested, for those of you that want to learn more about our Directors Inner Circle and our Owners HQ, give me a yes in the comments. Stay on, and I'm going to share with you all about it. For those of you that are not interested and know that this is not something you want to do, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for participating. And you can exit the live streaming now if you don't want to hear about the program. But if you do want to hear about the program, I really appreciate you staying. And I'm so happy to share with you what the Directors Inner Circle and Owners HQ is about. I do want to be respectful, and that is why I tell you what I'm going to be doing, because if you don't want to hear about it, please, I want to respect your time. You don't need to stay here. So our Directors Inner Circle and our Owners HQ program are our flagship programs that help directors and owners learn the skills, the training, the coaching, the guidance, the accountability, the role playing, and the mentorship to build a school of excellence. In order to build and sustain excellence, you need all components. And on Monday, I'm going to be talking more about the 6 types of support. But in short, it's coaching, mentoring, training, accountability, role-playing, and community. You need all of them. And so if you, over the last 4 days, have lit a spark inside of yourself, you're like, there's more here. There's more for me. There's more opportunity. There is hope for me to step up out of the survival trap and truly become a leader of excellence, then this is the place for you. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to walk you through what is actually in our membership so you can see what it's all about. And then I want to answer questions. So in the meantime, please put your questions inside the chat box. Yes, Kaylee, I'm so glad you're writing this. Every single person who joins is scared. If you're not scared, you're probably not a good fit. Everyone who joins is scared because you're taking a leap of faith. You're doing something you've never done before. So being scared is actually a good thing. It means you care. It means you're excited about what's next. So I'm so happy you wrote that, Kaylee. Okay, so let me show you what's here inside our membership. Right when you come inside over here, this is our membership platform. This is one component of the program. It's the training component. So over here, we have our roadmap. These are the 5 stages to build and grow your school. Many of you, right when you join, are going to be in these 2 stages, either in survival or disordered. In each of these sections, we have very specific training that we work you through to help you develop skills to take you to the next level. So let's say, for example, when you join, you assess and you see, hey, I'm in the disordered phase. Well, if you're an owner, you're going to get access to the content in our owners program. If you're a director, you're going to see here all of the trainings that you're going to work through as a director. So for example, we have our training on how to run effective meetings. That is a critical skill that we teach you when you join. Our meet the deadline framework, our roles and responsibilities training. All of these are trainings, content for you to learn and give over to your staff. So this is the training part. All the stuff over here is our training part. Then we go over here to our resources section. Our resources section is our grab and goes. These are our difficult conversation templates, our appreciation guides, all of our templates that you can just download, our conflict standards, just download and have available for you so you can stop reinventing the wheel. How many of you spend hours prepping for staff development, prepping for a meeting, prepping for something, right? Everything is here and ready for you. So this is another component of the program. This is another component of the membership. The other thing that's really critical to know to sense if you're a good fit and if you want to apply for the Directors Inner Circle is if you are thinking about, okay, I need help with my time management. I want to create a calendar. I want to build a great culture. I want to learn how to hold people accountable. I don't know how to do it. I don't know the steps. We have the steps. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, go here. And at every step of the way, there's check-ins, accountability, and coaching. So I'll explain to you what I mean. When you go watch a training, after you watch it, guess what you're going to have? Questions. Because every time you learn something new, you have questions. Sarah, who's our head of community, is going to check in with you every 2 weeks. She checks in with every member and she's going to say, hey, Kaylee, how are you doing? Did you get a chance to watch this in this training? Do you need any help? A real person, not an automated monkey. A real person is going to send you a message and ask you, hey, Renee, did you get a chance to do this? And then you'll respond, here's where I'm stuck. Here's where I need more help. That's accountability. But it's not just reminding you to do it. It's also there as a support. We had a director yesterday who called Sarah and she's like, I'm just having a really difficult day. And Sarah's like, no problem. I cleared my calendar. Let's jump on a 15-minute call. Sometimes we just need a vent. Sometimes we just need a listening ear. Sometimes we just need to know we're not crazy and we're not alone. That's what the community is for, to celebrate wins with you. The other component of the program is coaching calls with me. So this is, we do once a month where you can come on and ask your questions and get coached on challenges, on roadblocks. It's where I do scripting and you get to hear what other directors are going through. 95% of the time they're going through either something you've already gone through or something that you're going to go through or something that you're currently navigating. And so hearing how I coach other directors through the challenge is priceless. We have people that have never been able to come live due to time zone differences and watch the recording and have gotten transformational results from just the coaching calls. Yes. Laura, real person checking in every 2 weeks. We're also going to feel like we do our check-ins through screens a lot more than we used to. Yes, a real person checking in with you. How are you, Laura? Right? Sarah gets to know you. She gets to know, are you married? Do you have children? Do you have dogs? What kind of pets do you have? What are your likes? What are your dislikes? We care about you guys because we want you to succeed. We want you to succeed. So that is Sarah, that is me, and that is content. Now let's talk about insider shares. Insider shares are when current members share systems, processes, and frameworks that they're currently working on, and they share it with you guys. So for example, we did a training on handbook creation, how to update handbooks, how to create a parent handbook, how to create the teacher handbook. We had a training on how to run 360 reviews, how to create an art supply system, how to talk to parents. These are coming from real directors, from real owners who are currently running centers, who are sharing strategies that are currently working in their center, and they share it with you guys. So those happen every once in a while. Sarah will ask a director, hey, do you want to share your system? And then we'll do a training on that. So that is insider shares, insider knowledge to what's happening. So instead of you trying to have to figure out, where do I even start with this handbook? Great, we have something to help you. So give me a yes in the comments if you're like, okay, this is amazing. Where do I go to learn more information? This is an application-only process. The reason for that is because this is a curated group of directors and owners. So we have two groups. One is for directors and one is for owners, and it's curated. We are very selective about who comes in because we can only help a certain amount of people, and we want to help people that are committed to their growth. So you can go to khani.me/join the DIC to fill out an application. I'm going to put that in the comments. Advisors, if I can ask you to please do the same thing, khani.me/join the DIC to read more about it, to see the testimonials, to see the case studies, and to fill out an application. The other thing that I want to share with you that our membership is about is our mentor coaches. And this is something that's been a really amazing surprise for a lot of our members. Over the last 12 months, overwhelm, compassion fatigue, anxiety, and burnout has been tremendous in our space. I actually want to hear, just give me a thumbs up in the comment if over the last 12 months you have experienced any of these emotions. I was listening to a podcast this morning and on mental health, and this doctor was saying, he goes, right now in the world that there's two types of people. There's people who are burnt out, and there's people who know that they're burnt out. Two types. And I was laughing and I'm like, yes, that is true. There are either people that are burnt out or that are actually aware that they're burnt out. We all have components of burnout, compassion fatigue, exhaustion, frustration. And so that is why we hired Dr. Walling. You can Google her, Dr. Sherry Walling. She's a mental health professional and a psychologist. And she does training. She's actually doing one this coming Wednesday for our members. This Wednesday, she's talking about the difference between resilience, like actually getting back up again, and just someone who's emotionally fragile, who's just like, oh, this is so hard for me. How do we know the difference between pushing someone and realizing, oh, okay, this is really too much for them? So she's going to be doing a whole training on that. So we have a mental health professional on staff who helps our members with their mental health. In the last 12 months, 9 of our members have started seeing a mental health professional because of these trainings and are taking care of their health. To me, that is one of the greatest wins, that our members are taking care of themselves. So that is our mental health professional. We also have an HR expert, a hiring and onboarding and training specialist who has trainings on how to hire, how to onboard, how to interview, how to create job descriptions, all of that stuff, all available for you in the membership. The other expert that we have is a financial expert. Kathy Petchel from Hinge Brokers, for those of you guys who know her, she does trainings for our owners on financial health, on budgeting, on cutting expenses, on forecasting, on all the things in relation to the financials of running your center. And so the reason I'm sharing this all with you is because this is the giant school incubator. Everything that you need for your center to grow your center is here, from a leadership side, from the leadership side, from the human side, from the connection side. So if you're really struggling with enrollment right now, and that is like deep, heavy on your side, you may want to think about, is this really the program for you? Because what we really focus on over here is leadership, mindset, time, training, culture, all of that development. We also help every once in a while when someone's struggling with that. But if that's your key focus, if you're like, I got to fill spots, and that's the only thing you can think about, there's a ton of resources on that. And we have some additional trainings. But if you're looking to become a leader, if you're looking for training on the 6 performance keys, on classroom management, on all of these things that I shared, please fill out an application. I invite you to apply. I invite you to check it out. And let's see if you're a good fit. I'm going to be completely candid and honest. When I get on the phone with you, I'll ask you a couple questions. I'll be able to quickly assess if you're a good fit, and I'll let you know, yes, I can help you, come join, or no, I can't help you. This is not the right fit. Here's where you can go next. So definitely the cost, it depends which program you're joining. That is why we ask you to fill out an application first. In the application, you'll be able to see more about the investment, and you'll be able to self-select also if it's the right fit, and we'll be able to tell you that as well. So that is as far as the investment goes. So any other questions here that I can answer? Again, please make sure that you join us on Monday. I'm going to be talking more about coaching and the 6 types of support. And also we'll be answering some more questions about our directors inner circle and our owners HQ. Let me just see inside of here. We'll share with my advisor and my soon to be new director. Amazing. If you have any questions about the program, ask your advisor. They're happy to help you as well. Renee, where do you sign up? You go to hani.me/join the DIC to fill out an application. So you could go check that there. Yeah, so you need to apply first because we need to see if you're a good fit. Once we see we're a good fit, we'll jump on a 15-minute call. On the call, I'm going to assess if you're a fit, and then we can let you know what it's about. If cost is a first factor for you, you might not be a fit for the program. Okay, Misty, Dylan, awesome. Looking forward to more workshops in the podcast. Yes, make sure you join us on Monday. We'll be talking about that. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Good. I think I got to everyone's questions here for today. If you have any others, please leave them here in the comments. I will come back and respond. You can also reach out to your advisor and ask her any questions. Thanks so much for joining me here on day 4 of our Build to Last workshop. Again, if you want to build your school of excellence, you want our training, our support, our community, our coaching, our advising, please go to hani.me/join the DIC to apply, and we'll let you know if you're a good fit to join us. Thanks so much for joining me. Have an amazing weekend, and thank you so much. Bye, Kaylee. Bye, Renee. Thank you so much. I look forward to connecting with you guys. I hope you guys fill out an application. Thanks so much for joining me here today. All the best, everyone. Bye.
If your accountant has ever told you to cut back on professional development or slash your teacher appreciation budget or your staff development budget just so you could stay afloat, or has told you, hey, you probably can't go invest in that program, please listen. The problem is not that you're spending too much money on your people or yourself or your investment or your support system. It's that your school has invisible money leaks that are draining your profit, leaks that no spreadsheet will ever catch or accountant. So I created the 6 money leaks of schools that show you the 6 core areas that schools lose money every single month without realizing it. If you close even one of them, your profits will start to soar without sacrificing your team. Go get it now and stop blaming the things that are actually building your school.